excited to have this guy on the podcast. Ever since he got hired back at UConn, I've been wanting to have him on. We've got the off season, so it's time to have him on. So join me today. We got Chris Grosse, and I want to make sure I get the title right. Senior Associate AD for External Strategy. Did I get it all right there?
You nailed it. You
There we
nailed it.
go. There you go. Well, Chris, welcome to the
Sorry.
podcast. Excited to have you on.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I've been a long time listener and happy to join you.
Oh, thanks, thanks. Always love having a listener on the podcast. So let's start with this. I know a lot of people are probably familiar with you from Twitter. They see you engage with the fan base a lot, but why don't you give just a little bit of background on yourself in your role at UConn?
So sure. So I'm actually a New England native, grew up in New Hampshire, and came to UConn as an undergrad in 2001. And so I did 4 years at UConn. I was a marketing major and actually interned in the athletic department as a marketing intern. So the kids that you see running around on the court throwing T-shirts and running all the contests and promotions, that was me from sophomore year on, working all sorts of games: men's basketball, women's basketball, football, soccer, hockey, field hockey, everything that UConn offered as an intern. I was working the games, and so really enjoyed that, and wanted to start a career in college athletics marketing, and have been doing that since I graduated in 2005. So I've worked at several different schools, the Naval Academy, got my master's at Florida State, and worked there as a graduate assistant. I worked at New Mexico State, Georgetown, Penn State, and now have returned back to UConn after about almost 20 years. So it's been great. I'm just hit the year mark here, being back in town, and yeah, the job has been great. It's kind of a an interesting title, but what it really means is I kind of oversee and help our marketing departments, communication department, creative services, which is like graphic design and social media, and then our video production department, which they oversee all of our video board shows at our games, all of the streaming that goes on, and then a lot of the video content that's produced throughout the year is handled by that group. So I oversee those four departments and work really closely with them, and it's been awesome. It's been a great experience, and awesome to be back in this type of role, and have really enjoyed my time so far.
We'll get into some more in a little bit about what you're doing now at UConn. But from what I took away from your introduction there, we've got the battle of Chris Grosse's schools in the Super Regional this weekend with your undergrad versus your grad there. UConn
Yeah,
FAU.
yeah. So I really enjoyed my 2 years at Florida State as a grad assistant. After going to school and growing up in the Northeast for a while, it was nice to see kind of how the other half lived down south, and got to experience that. Uh, Actually, Florida State baseball is one of the sports that I enjoyed going to the most down there, and they have a beautiful facility, and obviously a ton of tradition. And I was lucky to see some really great players play when I was down there as a graduate assistant. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited for the Huskies to go down there. I want there to be no debate, though. I will be cheering 100% for UConn. They're my alma mater, my place of employment, and where most of my heart lies. So there's no house divided for this coming series.
There you go. I think one thing that's really cool about your background is you've been at so many schools. You named a few of them there, but all different schools from different extents. Penn State obviously has a great football tradition, primarily, great in other sports. You got Georgetown, another Big East school, Naval Academy, FSU. What's it been like getting to be at so many different environments, and kind of what have been some of your takeaways from being in those different places?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's been one of the things that I've enjoyed most about my career, and I think one of the great parts of working in college athletics is you really never know kind of where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
If you would have told me when I graduated college that I'd be working at New Mexico State within 3 years, I would have said you were crazy. But it happened, and it was awesome. It was a great experience, and You're right. All the schools that I've been at have been different. There's not one that kind of aligns with the other. You have big, huge public school like Penn State, a small private school like a service academy in Georgetown in the big city, and then out in the Southwest in New Mexico, and down in the South in Florida State. All the schools, had different kind of focuses on, what programs kind of led their departments, and it really kind of made me into I think, a well-rounded person in my career, because I've had to market and try to attract interest in all these different types of environments. And so, obviously, we didn't have to do a ton to sell Penn State football tickets to the big games, right? But we worked really hard there to help push the basketballs and really try to drive attendance to those
Yeah.
sports. At the Naval Academy, we didn't have to worry about marketing towards students because all the students were required to go to football games. But at other places, student focus on attendance is huge, and so every place I've been, there have been kind of different challenges, and really, I mean, if you're in athletics, you enjoy a challenge. So
Yeah.
it's been really rewarding and great to be at all those different places. And now I've got friends all over the country and awesome experiences.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned the Naval. I've never been to see a game at the Naval Academy. I've been to West Point before, and I forgot how everyone is required to go to those games. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy there, and just all the pomp and circumstance and all the
yeah,
history around that program. The student athletes are one of a kind. They're signed up to serve the country after they graduate, and it was just a really unique and cool place to kind of just be a small part of.
yeah. I know you're known for a lot of the different marketing and promotions efforts that you've done at each of these stops along the way. Do you have a favorite or two that stick out to you as you kind of think back over the past few years of your career?
Yeah, so I think one of my favorites is kind of one that, when I first kind of realized that you can do kind of out of the box things and gather some media attention instead
Yeah,
of just like paying for advertising. And that was kind of the first kind of like viral promotion I had, which was at the Naval Academy. And all it was we called it the rock paper scissors night, where if you came to the basketball game, we had our costume mascot out front playing everybody in rock paper scissors, and if you beat the mascot, you got into the game for free, and if you lost, you paid. And so it was just a simple little
yeah,
thing, but there were a couple like national news outlets that picked up on it, and it kind of was like, wow, there are people talking about Navy basketball that normally wouldn't be. And so that's when I had done kind of like little creative things here and there, and just kind of learning the business. But at that point, I was a couple years in at the Naval Academy, and wanted to try some different things, and it really kind of showed me there was a pathway to creating some extra excitement around what we do. And so, fast forward to my time at Georgetown, I was able to do a lot of those kind of things. And probably one of my favorites was when we did the actual reality seating section, which I think we did that in like 2017 or something. But we had a section in Capital One Arena. It was called the Verizon Center at the time,
yeah,
but where we took people's cell phones away from them and just made them watch the game without having their cell phone on them. And so, it was a small section. I think it only fit like 50 people, but it got a ton of media attention, and national outlets picked it up, newspaper like USA Today, and I even got to go on ESPN outside the lines
oh,
and
cool.
talk about it. And it's just something small that didn't cost us any money, but it was just kind of unique and different, and people kind of gravitated towards it, and it struck a chord with people, and got us some extra publicity. It was, especially in DC, it was really hard to kind of cut through the clutter of everything that's going on. I used to say that every farmers market and play was competition, and so we had to do stuff to think outside the box and create a little bit of publicity and interest. And I've been able to do some stuff too during my time at Penn State after that, and then even here a few little things. But a lot of the work now is more of the kind of oversight of stuff and
Yeah.
management and making sure that my staff is able to be creative and do that kind of stuff.
You've been in the industry a while, and I know college athletics in particular is always changing. How have you seen the industry change from when you started, and maybe some of the ways you marketed games and events, back when you were at FSU versus how it is now at UConn? Because I have to guess it's just changed drastically.
Yeah, I mean the major thing is the phone.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that has changed pretty much everything that we do from a marketing perspective, right? Back when I started, we used to have to put flyers up around campus and take out a newspaper ad or have a radio station come out and do a live remote from the game to try to get people's attention. Now we're able to really focus all of our email marketing and our digital marketing to attract the audience that we want to. And so that's been the biggest change. Now we're able to target all of our ads through Facebook and Instagram and through retargeting and digital advertising to really get super specific with who we want. So if it's a UConn football game on a Saturday, we know people will drive 2 or 3 hours for that game. And people who have an affinity for college football or UConn in general or football in general, we can target that range of people, and it's not that expensive,
Right.
which is great. If it's a basketball game on a Tuesday night that's not sold out, we know that we're not going to get people to come from Stanford all the way up to stores on a Tuesday night, right? So we hone in our advertising to a much tighter area, and we can be more strategic about it. So that's been a huge difference in what we do. The other thing is just getting people's attention and getting people to commit to things and spend their time and money on it. I mean, I think that's changed a ton. The attention span thing is crazy because as part of my job here, I oversee our creative department, who is in charge of our social media accounts and all the content that we put out there. And they do that in collaboration with our video team and our communications team and our marketing team. And we've really had to kind of hone in on our strategy for capturing people's attention
Mhm.
and uh, and putting together content that's going to be engaging and people want to consume. Like the time of putting out a long form story is and having that be kind of the only thing you do is gone. You have to kind of push stuff out in multiple ways to really kind of grab attention of different types of folks. So it's changed a lot. I mean, the basis of what we try to do to get people to come out to our games and make sure they have fun and want to come back, that's changed. But the way we do it, I mean, I'm sorry, that's stayed the same, but the way we do it has
Yeah.
changed a lot.
I'm curious because I'm sure it has to have a big impact when you're looking at team performance and getting people out to games. How do you deal with that challenge when maybe there's a team that you've been in place with that struggled and still being able to draw attention and get people out to games?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best example of this is my time when I was marketing and heading up the marketing for Navy basketball. Um, we didn't have a product. I mean, we were kind of in the middle of the Patriot League
Mhm.
for most of the. I was there for 5 years, so and I was working with the program the whole time, and we were kind of the bottom middle of the Patriot League for a lot of those years, and we weren't really able to rely on, hey, come and watch your top, five Navy basketball team play Creighton
Yeah.
or Villanova. It was much more trying to promote the environment that we had there, and we leaned in a lot of this is the Naval Academy, and this is like a really great place to visit and walk around the campus, and made it as family friendly as we could, and we realized we were still able to make an impact and raise attendance even though the team performance wasn't where the team performance wasn't going up.
Yeah.
And so every year we were able to build into different groups and work with different group leaders and youth groups and churches and do more fun promotions and buy one get one free offers and crazy off the wall things. And
Yeah.
we kind of had a reputation in town of like being a great way to spend an evening with your family. And so we were able to do that, and be successful at it. Georgetown too, they really struggled when I was there. We made the tournament the first year that I was there, and after that they didn't, in men's basketball. And so that's when we had a lot of inventory to move. And we had an administration that was open to us doing these kind of crazy out of the box things to try to draw attention and draw attendance. And, really what we tried to do is just create experiences that you wouldn't get in other places. And so, obviously winning is the greatest marketing tool, that's always great when that happens. But really, if we do our job the right way, people, are going to leave the game happy regardless of wins or losses because of the experience they had when they went.
Summer is here, and if you want to be champion of the grill, make sure you're serving the best hot dogs around. I'm talking about Martin Roastals. Our friends in New Britain have been making their small batch gourmet hot dogs for 4 generations using Martin's original recipes from 1928. So if you want to dominate your cookouts, just like the Huskies dominated the tournament, be sure to grab some Roastal dogs at your local grocery store or pay a visit to their retail store on Grove Street in New Britain. As always, go support a UConn fan-owned business. And now, back to the episode. So, UConn job opens up. How excited were you to get a chance to come back to your alma mater after spending time at all these different places?
Yeah, it was kind of shocking. It kind of came up out of nowhere, and I had a couple conversations with people, and for me and my family at the time, it was really really the right move for us. And the administration is incredible. I've seen the growth of the department from afar, in facilities and in the way they compete nationally, and what they've been able to accomplish since I've been gone. And it was just an exciting place to be. And yeah, I was really thankful that the job came open, and thankful that my wife agreed to me going after it, and really thankful that I got it, and they've kind of put their trust in me for this important position. So it's been surreal. I mean, that's just how I describe it. Think about being a student at a place and
Yeah.
thinking of it one way, and all of a sudden you come back 18 years later and you're wearing like a polo and khakis and walking in with your to your first day on the job, and you're kind of looking around like, wow, this is pretty crazy. So it's been a fun year. We've had some successes. We've been able to do some fun stuff, and I'm looking forward to many more. It's been great.
Yeah. What was it like walking in that first day, knowing that like, hey, I've been in this place as a fan, I've been here as a student working, and now like this is my actual job. Like it's my
Yeah.
job to do the marketing here to get UConn athletics out there, and it's a full-time job now.
So it was a weird time to start because I started in May, and
Oh,
all of the staff had just gotten through the national championship
yeah.
run, and they were like trying to breathe. And all of a sudden, this new guy comes in, and I'm trying to get as much information as possible from everybody.
Yeah.
They're just trying to take a break. They've been going nonstop since like August, and so I kind of felt bad because I was trying to gather as much information as I could, but try not to be overbearing on these people that needed a break. But it was it's a lot of responsibility with what my groups are tasked with. We've got all these sports that we have. I think there was something like 200 something home games across all sports over the last year, and we're at all of them in some capacity. It's a big undertaking, and we've got we've got some aggressive goals that we need to hit, from what we want to do. And it's been a lot of work, but like I said, it's been a lot of fun. And every once in a while I'll kind of just, so my office is in the basement of Gamble,
Okay.
so I didn't spend much time in the basement of Gamble when I was a student, so that's not as familiar to me. But every once in a while I'll walk out and like walk across the street, and I'll see the business school or the library, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I went to school here a long time ago. So it's been like I said, surreal, and pretty fun to experience it.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got this rosy picture of UConn coming into the job, just from your experience, and it's time to get the work. What was the toughest part of year one for you as you kind of got settled and hit the ground running?
Yeah, it's still a work in progress for sure. I came up in the marketing world, and so at different places that means different things, right? When I was at Navy, we didn't have a social media department because social media really wasn't a thing. Like I remember starting the Navy Athletics Facebook page. I started the New Mexico State Athletics Twitter account. Like it wasn't a thing. That stuff kind of fell on communications and marketing. When I was at Georgetown, we didn't have a graphic designer really. We didn't have a social media team. We didn't have a video team. So I was kind of doing a little bit of everything. Um, but I have never really kind of dove in before I came to this job with the other departments that I wasn't as used to. So the communications or your sports information
Yeah.
folks, your video production group. I don't know the first thing about how to work a video camera or run a control room or any of that.
Yeah.
And the communications side of things, like, I don't know how to stat a game. I don't know how to do a lot of the complicated things that they do. So the biggest change has been trying to learn those worlds and find out ways that I can support the staff in those departments, and on the creative side too, and kind of the demands of everyone for the social media department to be able to constantly churn out engaging content is a lot. And so diving into all of that and learning about all that has kind of been the biggest area of growth for me, and still the biggest area of the potential for growth, I think, because it's a lot. They're all working really hard, and we all have our goals, and it's also constantly changing too. So there's never a day that I don't get an email about a new technology that's here, or a new group that we can collaborate with. So it's constantly changing, and we need to stay on top of all that.
Yeah. So you come in year one, you're coming in off a men's basketball championship, so no pressure there to keep things. You guys in your team were able to do some really cool things this year. I know disappointed you a little bit in the stripe out because I kept my superstitious blue sweater on, and
Yeah.
I'm a little spill prone, so I tend to avoid the whiteout stuff. But I gave in at the end this year. But what was it like getting to see some of these ideas really play out in a really nice way this season?
Yeah, I mean, the UConn fan base, and I'm they say you shouldn't be a fan of the school that you work for, but I went here. Like there's no disguising the fact that I'm a UConn fan, and have been since I came here came to UConn my freshman year. So they've done a great job in the last couple of years, really kind of revamping that whole kind of atmosphere in the game, and being really kind of engaging with our fan base. So when I came in, it's not like this is broken, need to fix it type of thing. So we were able to throw some ideas out there. The stripe out was a big one this year, and I had some experience in the past, at Penn State doing the stripe out and everything that we did. And regardless of where you do it, as the marketing person or the external relations person for that, you're always nervous that people aren't going to do it. I'll tell you, like every single time we do a white out or a stripe out or a wear blue, like you're just constantly looking up and hoping that, okay, that person's the first couple of people that are sitting in section 102, like they should be wearing blue, but only one is wearing blue. Like what's going to happen? And after a while it fills in. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. We were able to do some stuff with our basketball in game on both the men's and the women's side, where we were a little bit more flexible with a lot of the sponsorship content that goes on, and the videos that we play, and crowd prompts that we do to kind of get the crowd up and engaged. And we went to kind of a little more flexible model with that this year, so we can kind of ride the waves of the ebbs and flows of the game, and really take advantage of those exciting moments. And then when things need to breathe, we let it breathe a little bit. We're able to add in the timeout flashing lights at the XL Center games.
I was going to bring that up if you didn't mention it. I was going to say, is that you?
Yeah. I mean, nothing's me. I mean, it's a group effort, and I mean the stripe out thing. Our marketing folks were the ones that just kind of ran with the messaging, and I was talking about digital advertising before, but we took everybody who had a ticket. We obviously have their emails. We served ads directly to them, reminding them about the stripe out. We sent multiple emails. We had a landing page for it. We did radio ads to remind people, even though that's like a much bigger umbrella. We still we tried to push it as much as possible out there. So it's not me. It's a group effort, and it's but the lights were awesome. The first time we did it, I remember the reaction,
Yeah.
from the fans, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So
Yeah,
that's fun.
I'm sitting there getting up out of my seat at the timeout. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? This is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So we were happy with it, and we got to use it a couple times.
Yeah.
There are a couple games we were up so much that like we probably don't want to rub it in that much right now. But yeah, so we're able to make tweaks to that, and there'll be some cool stuff coming in this year that fans will see, and we try to replicate some of that in all of our venues in any way that we can. And so obviously a lot of people are focused in on basketball and football, but my staff is at all the baseball and softball games, soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, volleyball. I don't want to leave any out, but they're at all these events and always trying to figure out ways to kind of help with the environment and make it more exciting and supportive for our student athletes.
Yeah, no, very very cool. Any sneak peek into to what we might be able to expect next year, or your lips sealed?
My lips are sealed for now, but I think there's going to be some really really cool and exciting stuff that'll surprise the fans, and they'll be welcome updates
Yeah.
to the fan experience.
All right. One thing I know your team has done is put up some pretty cool billboards throughout the state. What's been the mindset going into those? I think those are pretty neat and a cool way to showcase the athletic program.
Yeah, it's a really cool program. One of our advertising partners, we've got a number of advertising partners that we work with, and one of them is Outfront Media, who handle there's like three billboard companies in the state,
Okay.
and they're one of them. And they have a number of digital billboards throughout the state, mainly in the Hartford area. There's some rules down in Fairfield County that they're not allowed to have billboards in a lot of areas, digital billboards.
Mhm.
But because of the nature of the digital billboards, we can swap those billboards out at any time and get them artwork, and it'll be up later on that day. And
Yeah.
it's a really cool promotion that they have going on over there, because you can buy into the region, and if you're willing to like not know exactly which billboards they're on, it kind of rotates around the whole
Oh,
region, so
cool.
it's different areas based on the opening. So
Yeah.
it's cheaper to advertise that, because you're not saying like I want that exact billboard, even though you'll end up being on there several
Yeah.
times. So it's great the way we're able to do uh, quick graphics and send it over. So after all of our conference championships and our national
Mhm.
championships, we had billboards ready to go and sent them over, and they were up the next day for if the team was flying back from the place, they could see it on the highway, or our fans
Yeah.
could see it going into work. We're able to do some kind of creative ones. We kind of blew up a picture of the sign at exit 68 on
Yeah.
84 and put that on a billboard. I think we did one earlier in the year for basketball, that said 860, but O was the OHHH, like people were cheering, and it had, I think, Samson dunking or somebody dunking. And so we were able to do some cool stuff, and it's very quick. And our graphic designers have been awesome in putting together
Yeah.
some really kind of creative ideas for that. And it's just a great asset for us to get our message out in front of so many people. Those aren't really to sell tickets.
Right.
People drive by and be like, oh, I'm gonna, see that date as I'm flying by and hop on my phone on the highway and buy a ticket. But it's really great for brand awareness and to kind of
For
tell our
sure.
story. And so we're gonna, continue to lean into that. It's a great partnership we have with those folks from out front. So yeah, we're excited about that. It's been fun to do it.
So I don't have too much more for you. I don't want to keep you too long, but one of the things that I think is great about you and what you do is you really interact with the fan base on Twitter, in particular. What's been like getting to interact with the UConn fans online?
So it's I had to kind of do it secretly before I took the job, because like I didn't want to like Penn
Yeah.
State to know, oh, here's Chris like really hanging out with all these UConn Twitter people and interacting with them. So, but it's been awesome, and getting to meet everybody. Like
Yeah.
I got to meet you and some of the other characters. I wouldn't say you're a character.
Oh,
There's
thanks.
there's some much bigger characters who I've gotten to meet and enjoyed interacting with. but it's been great. And like our job is to make sure our fans are engaging with us. And I think our AD does a really good job of that on social media. He's really open and approachable on that. And so, a lot of the ideas that we get are stuff that we kind of see out there, and people have great ideas. And, I'm not against crowdsourcing stuff with groups. And it's just been kind of fun to be kind of a part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I just enjoyed, and I've gotten to meet so many UConn fans that I probably wouldn't have met if I wasn't, active on that. So it's been cool.
One of your other, I want to say, staples on social are the fun questions you come up with to throw out there. Pick your pen, all that type of stuff. How do you come up with those?
Um, it's very random. Uh,
Okay.
it's I don't know. A lot of it just comes from conversations I have with friends, and we're like, yeah, that'd be a good thing to ask everybody else. And so I don't spend too much time thinking through it, as you can see by some of the questions being as stupid and random as they are. But it's been kind of fun to see people and get people to react to stuff and learn about others. And when I'm at, we have a athletics conference next week, and I'll see all these random people that I've just been engaging with on social media and LinkedIn and Twitter, and I've never met before in person, and now get to kind of interact with them. And so it's been fun. I've enjoyed kind of building that network of people, and it's a nice pastime for sure when I'm home and looking to kill time. So it's been good.
Yeah, they're always fun. So if you're not following Chris, make sure you're following him to check him out. I'll wrap with this one for you. I know since you moved back, you've been trying a bunch of pizza in the state. What's the top spot so far?
So I kind of thought you would ask this, and I will say that I've probably only been to like 10 pizza places since I've been back total. So this
Okay.
is a very, very incomplete list, but my favorite that I had, I did a little like self-guided New Haven pizza tour a couple weeks ago, where I made a ton of mistakes because I ate way too much at the first stop, and by the third stop, I like couldn't move. And anyway, my favorite one in New Haven, as of right now, is Modern.
Okay.
Uh, I have not had Pepe's in New Haven, and
Okay.
I hear it's different. So I have to put the caveat there um, that I have not tried that one yet, and I have only tried a few. So, and then my favorite local one here, closer to campus, is Camille's off of the famous exit 68 on 84. Great spot. My family loves it. Really, really good pizza and pasta stuff too. So I do not have a sponsorship deal with them, but that's been my favorite local spot. But really, all the spots are good, because when you have the best pizza in the country right here, all the kind of spots around there have to elevate their game even to stay competitive. And
Yeah.
so, what do they say? Something about a tide and raising all
Right.
ships.
Right. With all boats. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're in a good place. And to be honest, Penn State and Happy Valley was a pizza desert. Just terrible pizza all around. I think most people there will tell you that too. So it's just been like I've gone from like one extreme to the other. So
There, I was gonna follow up and say where was the place you're at that had the worst pizza, and you answered it. But I got to get to Camille's. I live not too far from their sister restaurant, Oakland, in
mm-hmm.
South Windsor. So I've heard Camille's is a little bit different. So got to get up and try Camille's. So
Good spot. It's a good spot.
appreciate the recommendation, Chris. I really appreciate the time. Thanks so much for hopping on this fun chat, and look forward to seeing what you've got up your sleeve. You and your team have for us heading into next season.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, and the highlights you bring to our fan base, and all the coverage you give us. It's been awesome. And like I said, I'm a listener.
Thanks.
So
Appreciate it.
appreciate it, and we'll chat with you soon.
We'll talk soon.